Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our church. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, kindly let's have the nominee for today. Good morning.
Chair.
And let's get to know who is before us this morning.
Sorry?
Let's know who is before us this morning.
Chair, my name is Architect Reuben Rutto, the nominee for Lands, Housing and Urban Development.
Can let's have your original ID. Honorable members, I have confirmed that the person appearing before us, Reuben Rutto, is the person who was forwarded, whose name was forwarded to us on 25th of October 2022 by His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Benjamin Cheboy. And as such, I direct the clerk to administer an oath on him. Mr. Rutto, as a tradition of this House, any person who appears before us has to take an oath. before we can engage. I hope you know the importance of an oath. Yes.
I, Reuben Rutto, do swear that the information that I will give to this committee is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Honorable members, I wish to confirm that Reuben Rutto has taken an oath, and the same is here before us. And as such, we may engage him now. Honorable members, the person before us this morning is Architect Reuben Rutto. He is the nominee for lands, housing, and urban development. Mr. Rutto, or perhaps, which name are you comfortable with for us to call you?
Chair, you can refer me as Architect Rutto or Rutto.
Architect Rutto. Okay. Can we refer you to Rutto, or it has to be Architect Rutto?
Rutto is still okay.
Rutto, okay. We will use Architect Rutto or Rutto interchangeably. Yes. Mr. Rutto, you will have 60 minutes with this committee. Members of this committee will engage you the last questions, and we expect you to be precise, brief and precise whenever you're answering the question, so that we can manage time. Mr. Rutto, this is the Committee of Appointment of Baringo County Assembly, which draws its mandate from the Constitution and Section 7 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order 190 of Baringo County Assembly Standing Orders, which mandates this committee to test suitability of a nominee for any position nominated to by His Excellency the Governor. The committee is chaired by myself, Vincent Kimboy, the Speaker, and I'll invite the members here to do a self-introduction. Let me start with the person on my left.
Yes, good morning, Architect Rutto. Good morning.
Morning, Member Kimosop.
Yes, my name is Honorable Rutto Kimosop, the Deputy Speaker and a member of this committee, and also the MCA Mochongoi Ward.
Morning, Architect Rutto.
Morning, Honorable Member.
My name is Honorable Awi Kipchumba Talam, MCA Lembusquin, the Majority Leader of Baringo County Assembly, and also a member to this appointment committee. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Honorable Josephat Lukurio, member of County Assembly Barueza and Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Honorable Venaline Jerob, nominated MCA Baringo County and a member of this committee. Welcome.
Thank you.
Rutto, morning.
Morning.
I'm Lolgisoi Paul, MCA Mugutani Ward, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Member.
Architect Rutto, morning.
Morning, morning.
My name is Ernest Kibet Tarus, MCA KABARNET, Majority Whip, and also a member of this committee.
Thank you, Honorable Tarus.
Good morning, Architect Rutto.
Morning.
My name is Ayub Kibet, member of County Assembly, representing Ewalil Chapchap Ward, and also a member of this committee. Welcome.
Thank you, Member Ayub.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Jane Jerob, nominated MCA, Baringo County. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mailuk Shedrak, MCA Tangobe Korosi Ward, member of this committee.
Thank you.
Damax Yalo, MCA Mogoti Ward, and a member of this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sialo.
Architect Rutto, you are now, I'm sure you have known the members here. Let me give to our clerk to do introduction for herself and the members of staff present.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Winnie Chemasa, the clerk of Baringo County Assembly and the clerk of this committee. We have the members of staff. From the farthest left, we have Zipporah Koroti, the Hansard editor.
Thank you.
We have Betty Toroitich, head of legal. We have Emma Kemei, head of ICT. Henry Tekeiwa, head of research. Tobole Lokorio, Sergeant at Arms. We have the cameraman, Karanja. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Architect Rutto, with us here is also Mr. Douglas Kiplimo, who is the liaison person between the Assembly and the Executive. We also have members of the public who are seated in the gallery. Yes, and the members of the fourth estate.
Thank you.
Architect Rutto, when we placed the notice in the newspapers, we requested you to come with some original documents. Do you have them with you?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, we'll kindly let's have those documents. Architect Rutto, do you have a valid KRA tax compliance?
Yes, Chair.
Do you have a valid higher education loans board clearance?
Yes, Chairman.
Do you have a valid ESCC clearance?
Yes, Chairman.
Do you have a valid certificate of good conduct?
Yes, Chairman.
Do you have a clearance certificate from a reputable credit reference bureau?
Yes, Chairman. All in the file.
All of them are here?
Yes, and I'll
Okay,
put a
we
tag on each one of them.
Thank you. You have made our work easier. We shall peruse the same, and if we need clarification, we shall call upon you. Architect Rutto, have you been charged and convicted in a court of law?
Chair, in the last 3 years, as prescribed in your forms, I have not been charged in a court of law. But Chair, allow me to just take you back to 2017, 5 years ago, when I was a county director of public works in Bungoma, and there was a matter that occurred where I was representing my department in the tender committee. There was a case that involved me that went through due process of the courts, and I was cleared by the High Court in Kakamega in 2018. And as I sit here, Chair, I am clean. I don't have any criminal record or an issue that impedes my professional status. And Chair, I want to further state that that matter has taken rounds in social media, the matter of the wheelbarrow, the infamous wheelbarrow case. And since this one is not a court proceeding, Chair, I plead with your indulgence that I should not go into the details, but I want to request that I table the High Court judgment with you for your perusal, if that is in order, so that I can be allowed adequate time to discuss what has brought me here today. Thank you.
Sergeant at Arms, let me have the said document before I can decide whether we can table the same or. Honorable members, this is a judgment from the High Court of Kenya at Kakamega for criminal appeal number 9th of 2018, and the parties are Ayub Tufaka China and 4 others first the Republic of Kenya. It's an appeal against Kakamega, criminal case number 1 of 2017. Honorable members, I can confirm this is a judgment, and the same can be tabled in this committee, and the same is admitted as part of these proceedings. Allow me, members, to take you the last paragraph. It's a long judgment for 21 pages. When we shall retreat for report writing, we'll get an opportunity to interact with the same. But let me take you to the last paragraph, paragraph 64. The upshot is that the appeal is upheld on the technical ground and reason that EACC was not properly constituted when investigations against the appellants commenced, to which act rendered the entire trial nullity. The conviction of the appellants in Kakamega criminal case EACC number 1 of 2017 is thereby quashed, and the sentence therefore set aside. The state is, however, at liberty to take any action against the appellants that they may deem appropriate within the confines of the Constitution and the law. Architect Rutto, a follow-up question. The last sentence gives the state the discretion to take up the matter. Were you subsequently charged in a court of law?
No, Chair. Okay. As a matter of information, Chair, those appellants are already reinstated in their respective offices.
Thank you, Architect Rutto. My question was limited to whether there was any subsequent charge.
Yes.
And which you have confirmed there's none. And as such, honorable members, if a person has been discharged by a court of law, the person is innocent. And as such, we shall proceed on the basis that Architect Rutto has no pending criminal case and or no conviction on that matter, because the same was set aside. And
Chair, can I, through your office, make a request that if it is in order, that matter be expunged from my report, because I am sitting here, Chair, as a clean citizen of the Republic, and from where I sit, I would be comfortable if this report is done without reference to a document like that. I was just bringing it on board, and you recall it was not a matter that was...
Architect Rutto,
yes.
Part of the reasons why we have called you, these members of County Assembly live in the society. They live within Baringo. And one of the issues that we were supposed to ask you this morning was the issue of the wheelbarrow. Because when you are nominated, members said you had a pending case, you are not suitable, and as such, it's important that the same forms part of this committee, the record of this committee, so that we will say, in as much as there was rumors or there were so much uproar that Architect Rutto is not suitable on the basis that he had a pending case, we have this committee as in its possession a judgment from the High Court of Kenya delivered by Justice Njaki on the 1st of October 2020, clearing Architect Rutto of the said wrongdoings, and as such, there is no pending criminal case against you, and it's proper for us that for it to be on record that you are a clean person as we speak today.
Thank you, Chairman. Well guided.
Are you a dual citizen?
Sorry?
Are you a dual citizen?
No, Chair. I have one citizenship.
Okay.
The Republic of Kenya.
Honorable members, you will have opportunity to ask questions. Architect Rutto, you'll speak through the chair, and the members will ask the questions through the chair. I expect you to be precise and to the point. I expect you to be honest in answering all questions. I'll also expect all the members to declare interest, to declare conflict of interest. That's Section 12, as per Section 12 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. Architect Rutto, it's of interest to you that in as much as there was so much in the social media, no single member of public presented a memoranda or an affidavit or an objection to your nomination.
Thank you.
Honorable members, allow me to break tradition and give the DS to ask 2 questions so that they can rush to the assembly for other businesses. I'll break the tradition today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Architect Rutto, I think mine is a quick one. That what really makes you think that you are suitable for this position? Generally, your understanding of this position, what entails to be a CC in this docket, and in your own estimation, what makes you think you are suitable for the position? I think that's my first question. The second question is, from the experiences that you have had, both in private and public sector, how will those experiences help in the new position, in the new responsibility? How relevant are the experiences that you have? How do we benefit from those experiences in the new position? Maybe those two quick questions, then we can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Kimosop. Chair, I am an expert in construction, in affordable housing, in urban planning, and my experience spans 20 years now. I have done consultative forums, I've done projects on affordable housing, and I've done a lot of work on urban revitalization and urban planning. I believe I have the qualifications that this county so desires to change it. Chair, as you are aware, the government of His Excellency William Rutto has put a major focus on affordable housing as one of its key agenda in its administration. And also, Chair, if you look at Pillar 3 of His Excellency Cheboy's manifesto, there is focus on affordable housing and quality of life in our urban environments. I believe I carry those qualifications to turn around our county and improve the lives.
You have answered the question.
Thank you. And I think I have tackled the two at the same time because on the experiences, I think I've mentioned.
Thank you, Architect Rutto. Yes. Honorable members, we shall release Honorable Kipruto Kimosop to rush to the assembly to attend to other businesses. Let's go back to our order for today. Architect Rutto, can you tell us briefly about yourself in 3 minutes? A summary about your life. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Chairman. My pursuit of education began in KABARNET way back when I joined a kindergarten, and that time I was residing with my father, who was a storekeeper in KABARNET High School. Mr. Rutto seated behind the gallery here. And the following year, I went to Kapsop Primary School to begin my journey of primary life. Chair, at that time, I was in the category of the first 844 team. And I proceeded through the years, completed my primary school in 1989, and excelled as the best student in that school, having achieved a grade of B, which was the best then. I was privileged to go to Sacho High School. And in Sacho High School, Chair, by second year, I'd crafted my career choice that I wanted to be an architect, and I joined the class of drawing and design. And I completed Sacho High School in 1989. Sorry, primary was 85, so 1989 I completed Sacho High School. And because I became the best student in that school, Chair, I earned myself a place as a lab assistant in Sacho, training Form 3 and Form 4 in physics and chemistry practicals. And Chair, I proceeded to the University of Nairobi in 1990 to pursue a degree of architecture. And then the course was taking 6 years, but because of the delays through riots and so on, my course was taking 7 years. And I proceeded and completed, and in fourth year, Chair, when my colleagues whom we started with left me, because that time we had the team that were doing 4 years, and those days we were very close as Baringo County students. So when I was left alone, Chair, I organized and I was very lonely. And I did what any man could do. I got married. And I married the lady sitting in the gallery there, Mary. And we proceeded and graduated in 1997 with 2 degrees, one for architecture and one for BA, and a set of twins. And Chair, I got employed, joined the Ministry of Public Works. Then once you graduate as an architect, there was no interview. You automatically get employed as a public works architect, because we were very few in the industry that time. And Chair, in 2003 to 2006, I went back to the University of Nairobi to pursue a master's in urban management and planning, completed in 2006. Again, Chair, in 2017, I went back to the University of Nairobi to start a PhD program on project planning and management. And right now, I have completed the coursework. I am at the field. I'm on the field study, hoping to complete by 2024, 23-24. Chair, then I've also done a myriad of courses, and I will not be able to say most of them, but I've done courses on senior management. I've done senior management in this institution. I've also done strategic planning in this institution. And when I was in the judiciary, I also did a law course by senior administrators. On my professional service, Chair, I joined Public Works in 1998, and for 11 years at the Public Works headquarters, I rose through the ranks from an architect one to an architect, to a superintending architect, to an acting chief superintending architect, between that time to 2011. And Chair, the achievements that I can mention to this committee when I was in Public Works headquarters, I would talk about 2 if you give me time. And because of my proactiveness and my grasp of computers and team player nature, I was able to be put in teams that were proactive in defining professional direction in the ministry. I remember, Chair, I was put in the team that was doing the assembly, the modification of the chamber of the National Assembly that we see today, that the counties have adopted. And we went to Dodoma to benchmark with the architects who did the Dodoma one, and we did a good thing. Chair, I was also sent to Southern Africa to do a benchmarking on the Hero Square, a Hero's Corner, that has enabled us to have an Hero Square at the Huru Gardens that is currently the venue for activities.
Thank you, Architect Rutto. I see you have a wide experience. If you are to tell us, we will take the whole day, and as such, can allow us to stop you there.
Okay.
Honorable members, I have noted that with us here today is Honorable Alex, the MCA for Kapropita Ward, and I've just looked at the identity card of Architect Rutto, and I know they comes from Kapropita Ward, and I'm sure Mheshimiwa Alex is here today to stand in solidarity with one of his members. You're welcome, Honorable Alex.
Thank you.
And I hope you'll not disturb us. Honorable members, Architect Rutto, when you came to the assembly, we gave you a questionnaire.
Yes.
And in the questionnaire, we requested for some details from yourself. Can you allow me to take you through the questionnaire and seek clarification on 2 issues? The first one, where are you currently employed? Or rather, are you currently employed?
Chair, currently I run a practice, an architectural consultancy practice in Nairobi.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. What's the approximate income, monthly income from your architectural practice?
I have calculated a yearly income of 1.2 million, Chair.
1.2 million.
Yes.
So per month that is around?
It's around 200,000.
Architect Rutto was not poor in mathematics. 1.2 divided by 12. It's 100,000.
100,000, sorry, Chair, 100,000.
Or you have underdeclared?
No, no, Chair.
You also mentioned that you have rental income.
Yes, Chair.
Of about? Your rental income is how much?
I do 1.7 million per year.
That's approximately how much per month?
About 170,000 shillings per month.
Okay. You also said you do farming?
Yes, Chair.
Which kind of farming?
I keep animals, I keep goats, and I keep chicken.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to your statement of net worth.
Yes.
You can give us a breakdown of your net worth. How much are you worth?
Chair, I am worth 93,600,000.
Breakdown?
Chair, I have rentals in Nairobi, which are matrimonial, 50 million, because my wife is servicing alone on the same. Then I have houses in Nairobi. I have another one in Nakuru, and I have another one in KABARNET. Modest houses, Chair, and they're total 20 million. Then I have land in Nakuru, Marigat, and KABARNET. I've also put a figure of 20 million on that. I have shares in the stock exchange, amounting to 2 million now. And then I have 2 vehicles valued at 1.6 million.
Thank you, Architect Rutto. Are you able to provide evidence for, do you have evidence of ownership of the state properties?
Yes, Chair, but I have not brought it here, but I can avail it if required by any authority.
Thank you. This committee, when we will call upon you at the right time to provide evidence of the same. Honorable members, at this point, allow me to give the mic to a few honorable members to ask their questions because of time. Let me start with Honorable Lokorio, then Honorable Chen Cherop. Yes, the two of them will ask their questions, then you'll answer. After Chen has asked their questions, you'll answer them. You'll just take them down.
Architect Rutto, quick ones. Tell us about your educational and professional qualifications briefly. And number 2, tell us your relevance in terms of educational qualifications that would help us in this, if appointed to this position.
For directions, Honorable Rutto, I think you have answered the question of the academic qualification. Perhaps you can restrict yourself to professional. And what else did you ask, Honorable Lokorio? Yes, you will answer those ones. Jen?
Into 3 classes, classified into 3, name them, and give the challenges of physical planning in urban centers in Baringo.
Honorable Jen, are you through?
Thank you, Chair. I am through.
Architect Rutto, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. On the questions by Honorable Corio, on my professional qualification, Chair, I had mentioned my activities when I was in Public Works Headquarters, and I'll be very brief. And Chair, in between 2011 and 2014, I proceeded to Bungoma County, and I went there as the youngest county works officer. And we did a lot of work. I was managing staff, about 40 of them from 6 sub-counties, doing staff rationalization and doing project coordination and management. Chair, later I proceeded in 2011 to 2015 to 2018 to the judiciary, where I got an opportunity to be a deputy director of building services. And Chair, in the judiciary, I sat in the management committee and the infrastructure committee, and we coordinated the construction of the high courts across the country, 32 of them. And Chair, because of my love for the county that I love, I managed to convince the committee to allocate funds for a court in Baringo County. And during my time, we managed to bring the high court to KABARNET. That is ongoing as we speak now. And Chair, in 2018 up to now, I decided to go to professional practice to run projects and understand the private sector. And one of the key projects that I'm doing in that partnership is affordable housing proposal in Eldoret for about 2,000 units. And I believe if given an opportunity in this county, I can bring synergy and ideas for our affordable housing projects in this county. On the other question on relevance to the county, if approved, Chair, I think from my presentation of my professional and academic qualifications, this post that His Excellency the Governor has given me suits very well to the mandate that I have in housing, in urban development, and even in lands, Chair. On the question by Jane, three classifications of land. Chair, let me start by saying that land is our only natural resource that is the biggest and the most dear to all of us. There's a lot of emotions on land, and land transects all boundaries. We are sitting on land even here, Chair, and it is also emotional to me. There are three categories of land, Chair. The first one is public land, and public land would include the roads that we have, the road reserves, the forests, and so on. Then community land would be land that is held by trust in government, community land, or land under group ranches, and such kind of land, Chair. Then private land is the land that is usually held under leasehold or freehold. It is actually the land that all of us in this world are struggling to buy to secure our future, our investments. Thank you, Chair. Then on the challenges of physical planning in Baringo, I think, Chair, these challenges are cascades or cross-cutting across any other paradigm. And I would talk about issues to do with the encroachment of road reserves by developers. Even the kind of typologies of designs are not regulated, so that when you want to plan, you'll find somebody else has put a go down here, another one has put a flat, another one has put some other land use item, so that it becomes a challenge. Chair, there's also the problem of public participation. People don't understand when government comes in to regulate issues in urban areas. People think that government has come to chase them away, and yet government is coming to put order so that we can live in a very harmonious environment. Thank you, Chair.
We'll take another set of questions from Honorable Tuwit and Honorable Olkisoi. But before that, let me ask you a follow-up question. You said you are involved in constructing affordable housing in Uasin Gishu or Eldoret, for that matter. You will be the nominee for lands, housing, and urban development. I would like you to, I know you come from Baringo, specifically KABARNET. One of the challenges facing KABARNET is housing, and especially we don't have houses being provided by the government. Even for government employees, there's a challenge of houses. And one of the challenges facing KABARNET is the pressure on land. Such that the land that was meant for public utilities or public amenities, over time, the county, the local government authorities, the defunct local authorities, reallocate the same to individuals. Kindly let us know your strategies and which measures will you put in place to ensure that by the time your tenure ends in Baringo County, we will have houses, affordable houses for civil servants in KABARNET, and even for wananchi in KABARNET, especially KABARNET town and Eldamaravin and all the urban centers, noting that we don't have land that has been set aside for the same. Honorable Tuwit, you can ask your question, then Honorable Kisoi.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Morning, Chairman and members. Morning, Rutto. Maybe I start with the introduction. I came late. I'm Honorable Daniel Tuit, MCA Rip Kowat, and the minority leader, a member of this committee. Mr. Rutto, I heard you coming from KABARNET. I want to ask you, first question is state the municipalities which are in Baringo County. Another one is which laws will guide you in the running of the sector if this committee nominates you? Another one is if you are approved for this nomination, what will be your elaborate plan of how you will deal with one, garbage collection, firefighting, recreational areas within the municipality, revenue collection, and drainage in KABARNET town, land subdivision, development and zoning by public and private sector, passenger transport, and general planning of the municipality. Thanks, Mr. Rutto.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Once again, Rutto. I have two quick questions to ask. There was a census done, 2009, and as in that case, 73% of the households had their houses mud floor, mud walls, grass touched. Only 24%, 24.8% have their houses cemented. Kindly, what strategy will you put in place to reduce that to below 50%? That is one. Secondly, the issue of land ownership in Baringo, you realize it's actually blocking a lot of projects being undertaken. You realize you have a facility you want to put up, but the tussle of land ownership becomes a challenge. And that's why many projects are stalled because of non-ownership of land. Kindly outline how you will help other departments to address that challenge so that we may not even have the issue of rollovers within our county and we have the county moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair, can I answer those ones? Oh. So let me start with you as chair. And you talked about the pressure of land resource in KABARNET in view of the affordable housing agenda that is in top gear in this country now. I think, Chair, this is a very important question because it's true we don't have land, even in KABARNET now. And if you approve me to this position, Chair, the first thing that I think for me I will look at so that it becomes an easier option would be to redesign the land masses that we have, even those that have residential houses like these ones that have the old 1980s dwellings can be demolished and remodeled so that you can have high rises that can house many more people with modern technology, and so that we can align it to the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, where we are going to do modular architecture and we make it cheap. The other thing that we can do, Chair, is to put more focus on the land banking or purchasing of land by the county, so that we buy land and continue constructing houses. In my consultation there with the team in the ministry, I am aware that we have land about 10 acres in KABARNET and some land in Marigat and even Ravine. So those are the ones that I would target for construction of housing. There's also the aspect of grabbing of land, Chair. There are many people who have land that was grabbed, and we shall try and go for that property, use the legal channel to get it back, And for those that have ownership and we feel we want to utilize that region or that area, we could negotiate with them. And I think that negotiation aspect is also promoted by the national government so that we can get land without quarreling for these particular activities. Well, the question by Honorable Tuwit municipalities, I think we have only KABARNET town as the only municipality that we have. But Chair, I am aware that the department has already completed an IUDP, integrated development plan, which is supposed to be coming to the assembly to enable us elevate Ravine into a municipality. Ravine is now a town. And once we do that, at least we can access more funds from external partners to grow Ravine faster. On the issue of laws, I think there are quite a number of laws that would help us move fast in this agenda of housing and land. There is, of course, the mother law of the County Government Act 2012. We also have the CIDP, we have the IUDP, and we have spatial plans and all that. We have the Land Act and all the other acts that are pertain to, with also the Housing Policy Act and many others, Chair. Then on the issue of elaborate plan for these activities, I think allow me, Chair, just to touch on a few because there are very many. On garbage quickly, Chair, I think it is time for Baringo, for KABARNET, to get private undertakers to collect garbage so that we don't rely on the county. Because right now we don't even have a truck that is doing that. So if we can get private people to do that, then we can still draw revenue as a county by licensing them. And then they can do a good job and negotiate with the assets that they are going to deal with. And will also create employment. Then on the firefighting, Chair, I think this is a very, very sad situation. I am aware that we don't even have a fire engine in the entire Baringo. The only fire engine that we have, Chair, was donated by a very good county son, Mr. Chitugul, and we are not able as a county to clear simple things at the port that would enable us clear the machine, and we are already in conflict with the donor, so the machine has been put aside. We are not able to use it. And I think when we come in, if you approve as Chair, we'll have to quickly look for resources from within the county and from external partners to at least get a fire engine. It's very sad that we don't have one in the entire county. On the issue of recreational areas, it's also very sad for Baringo, for KABARNET, and these other towns that have grown, and Ravine. But I can say that I am proud that we have Marigat, that from where I sit would be the future the future city of Baringo in the next 20, 30, 40 years. And the structure are in place. I consulted the minister and they tell me that Marigat is well planned. It has a stadium area, it has recreational areas, it has abattoirs, it has all these things that demand a city to have. So if we can protect Marigat from encroachment, we can be able to achieve these things and create very nice landscaping for people to relax. Revenue, I think, Chair, we need to digitize our revenue system. We need to get people pay through a platform like the way we do M-Pesa so that we can get all the money come to us. On drainage, I think that's also another issue. We'll partner with the World Bank to seek for funding so that we can do drainage in the county. We are glad the roads that we are doing are not very badly off because we are on a very hard terrain and sloppy ground, so we are not badly off. Chair, on public transport, I think it is also about time we introduce buses to ferry people from estates like Abtimbor, even Kasoyo to the town. And I think when we come to office, if you approve as Chair, we'll try and create spaces for bus parks so that we don't just use matatus all along. We can have buses that crisscross, the inter-county buses, picking people from here to take people to Nairobi, from Eldoret, KABARNET, Nairobi, so we make it easier for our people to travel across the country. Then there's the question on the households that are 73% mud and only 24% cemented. I think it's also another issue that cascades from the national agenda to our manifesto in the county. And Chair, if given an opportunity on this, we would want to look at alternative technology. If you look at countries like India and these other countries that are now emerging as tigers, they use affordable technology. They use soil stabilized blocks to build houses for people. And
Thank you. I think you have answered that one.
Okay,
You
sir.
can go to the next.
So land ownership and titles. I think we will advise departments to do due diligence with the ministry, with us, so that before we establish a projects, capital projects, we should authenticate the land question, that it is having a genuine title, so that we don't go into trouble and delay the projects. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Architect Kibet. Architect Rutto, sorry. I think the next person who should ask a question is Honorable Kibet. And I think I combined your name with Kibet. So that's Architect Rutto and Architect Kibet instead of Honorable. Honorable Kibet, we have 7 minutes because we want to give Architect Rutto 3 minutes to wind up. So I want you to ask your question in a minute. I would like to request Honorable Fenalin to also ask a question in a minute. Lawi, you seem to be having a question. Then let's start with Lawi, then Kibet, then Fenalin, in that order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for catching my eye. Though he has partially answered, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, sorry. Mr. Chair, I've heard the nominee say that he'll put in place the issue of land, the title deeds and what. In Baringo, Architect Rutto will lose a lot of revenue in the land sector, simply because most plots are not, they have double allocations, they are not documented actually. And so we have people with rental houses, they don't pay land rates and everything. So what measures will you put in place to ensure that we tap or we collect a lot of revenue from these lands? I heard you talking of the way, the cashless way. But before we come to the cashless way, what measures will we put? Will use to identify those plots before we start saying that whether we are going for cashless or for cash? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, engineer. Architect Rutto. Morning. My question, what measures and strategies will you put in place to ensure the county develops an efficient housing and urban management, as well as land administration to curb mushrooming of slums, stalls, and land grabbing? The second question is about project implementation. It is a big challenge. We have huge rollovers. Kindly highlight measures that you shall put in place to avert this situation. Another question, kindly elaborate to this committee 4 measures in which land department can employ in collection of local revenue through land rates, and what underlying impediments have so far frustrated that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Rutto, I have only 2 questions. If this committee just approve you as the CC in charge of land, housing, and urban centers, how will you communicate to staffs in your department about policy direction to address a certain issue? Like, what factor do you consider before choosing the panel of communication? My second question is, in departmental meeting with staff of land department, 1 week later, you realize that the issue raised in the meeting are not being implemented as agreed. What could you have inhibited the communication between you as the CEC and the staff? Thank you, Chair.
Architect Rutto, as you finalize, let me also put up a follow-up question. We don't seem to have a master plan for our towns. And that's why it's difficult for investors to come to our town, because when you go to Captain Bor, let's take the case of KABARNET, we have residential houses, Capricornia residential houses, Kasoya residential houses, this side of Police Line residential houses. The question is, if an investor wants today to come to KABARNET and set up an industry, which place has been zoned as an industrial area for Baringo, so that if I'm an investor, I don't have to go and look for land Kapropita or in Kaptimbor, or so that I don't be in conflict, so that we are not in conflict with in residential areas, so you don't have conflicts. Do we have a plan to have a master plan for our towns? So that we, even before we purchase land, members of public, before they purchase land, they know that you cannot purchase land in a certain area because it's meant for industrial area, another place is meant for warehouses and such, and what have you. Because in the near future, we'll have serious conflicts where one person will want to set up a house and the next neighbor will want to set an industry. Then we'll have conflicts between investors and residents. Which plans do you have in place to ensure that we have a master plan for all our towns? Honorable Okore, what's funny?
Chair, was when Architect Rutto said that we don't have a firefighting machine in our only municipality in the entire Baringo. Mr. Architect, I don't know whether now that you've informed us, what plans should we be having in place? And number two, I am made to understand that there was a machine that was procured in the last regime. Are you in a position to tell us where the machine is? Lastly,
Honorable Lokoria, you have gone outside because Honorable Mr. Rutto, Architect Rutto has not been confirmed by this committee, so he will not be able to have the information you're asking for. Architect Rutto, proceed. My look, what's spanning? Members, we only have 3 minutes. I'll add you 5 minutes. We'll have to do it in 5 minutes. Architect Rutto, you'll have to answer those questions in 5 minutes. I know there are many.
Thank you, Chair, for that time. Architect Rutto, I have a question on, you know, in this county of ours, there are some sub-counties, for example, Tiati, Baringo South, that they have not adjudicated. People do not have titles. How will you ensure that this thing is being done efficiently when you become the CC of lands and fiscal planning? And again, in our departments, in our Department of Lands, we have fiscal plans for many centers in Baringo County that have not been completed. You know, there's a process. How will you ensure that these plans are done, are completed early, so that people can get their titles, allotment letters and letter titles, so that people can own land fully? Thank you.
Proceed, Architect Rutto, proceed.
Okay. So, Chair, let me start by answering the question on rates. And I think I'll tackle it together. The question was from Honorable Lawi and Honorable Kibet. I'll tackle it together. Chair, the rates question is a problem in this county. We are not able to collect rates as we speak because of structures that have not been put in place and because of lack of political will by some of our investors. But I have had consultations with the department chair, and I have agreed that if approved by this House, we need to sit down and tackle that issue as a very urgent agenda. There's a software called GIS, which will unlock these problems, and that is where we'll want to start from, so that we can map the town and get areas where we have plots that are titles that have been allocated by the municipal system, so that we can follow up on all those and try and put a system to collect land rates. On the issue of mushrooming of slums, I think, Chair, this one here is also another issue that requires proper replanning and also collecting enough revenue so that we can spur economic growth in the town to reduce urban poverty. Because when you see slums growing, this is all about poverty and lack of employment by people. I am looking here at these affordable, these machines that we use to do stabilized blocks, and if we purchase them for our urban dwellers, we can be able to employ people and eradicate this menace, try and improve the housing situation in the urban areas and also in the rural areas. On project implementation by Honorable Kibet, I think this is also another issue that requires me to try and put structures in the office so that we can have a proper system of doing things. Chair, we need to manage professionally the process of project implementation, from initiation, Chair, from monitoring and evaluation, and even from closure, so that we do things right and we do them timely and save time and resources for our people. On the issue of there's the question by Valerie on staff communication, and I think the best way to communicate with staff would be based on the scenario and the purpose of the communication. And I think, for instance, if you want to have a meeting with the technical staff that demands a lot of presentations, then you may want to go to a seminar place, and so you'll have to consider cost, and even consider the distance, and consider the numbers. You may also want to consider the urgency of whatever things you are going to discuss, and many other issues. And you have also asked if you go to this meeting, if later you have a meeting and you realize that whatever you had discussed was not implemented, then maybe you'll have to do some soul searching and find out why the staff did not listen to you. Maybe your communication channel was poor, or maybe they required a gender dimension, so that if it is an issue of gender, you bring a gender person to disseminate that information. On the issue of the master plan, Chair, I think this is a docket that if given a chance by this committee, I would really put my energy in, because I am an expert in urban planning, and I know this town requires a master plan like yesterday. And in that master plan, we need to zone, the way you are saying, so that we have areas for industry and areas for residential in a very organized way. And Chair, I had a consultation with the town manager, and if approved by this house, the first thing I would do is to sit and look at that master plan for the town and put my expertise on improving it along the lines of your wishes, the way you have mentioned, of course, working with the county assembly. Bwana Lokorio, I think on the issue of the fire, I had talked about it, and we'll do our best to get a fire engine as soon as possible, because we must have it anyway. We must have it, and I think His Excellency the Governor is also belaboring on how to get one, either through a donor or through reallocation of funds, so that we can get one. The one that you are talking about, Chair, I am aware that it is dead somewhere. It requires a lot of money to repair, the one that fell down. We could also look for money to repair that one. The member from Tiati Banalaki, land adjudication, I think this is also another issue that requires a lot of attention. Chair, land adjudication is done by a department that is anchored at national level, and the county has very little to do. So what we'll do is to push Mr. Lucky, so that we can put more resources to his department, so that he can be able to fast track the issue of titling and the issue of preparation of titles. And I think we'll do that, so that we fast track your region and the other regions in this county that do not have titles. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, allow me to use my discretion. There's a member from Baringo Central who has told me that he has a question, and since the nominee comes from Baringo Central, perhaps we can hear what the Honorable Bayub has to say, or the question. I hope it's a question, Honorable Bayub.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Okay, I will want to pose a question touching the HPs. Now that the affordable housing program was rolled out by the national government, how will you help our county to benefit from the same upon maybe its implementation in our county? Thank you, Chair.
Chair, thank you very much.
I'll conclude that you'll answer the question, then you'll have 3 minutes to wrap up.
Thank you very much, Chair. On that issue of AHP, Chair, we are aware that each county may benefit to the tune of 6,000 units per year. And I have already had a consultation with the governor, if approved by the House, to be the first ones to knock on the doors of the national government, so that we can be the first county to benefit in that allocation of funding and that process to begin. Of course, we have that land that we've talked about, and I am aware that a questionnaire has been filled by the department that came from the national government on the confirmation of land availability. And I believe that will trigger the process of accessing funds for us to do the affordable housing in all our towns, in all our centers in our strategic centers in the county. And Chair, allow me then to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you and your team for this engagement that has been very friendly. And I believe that if given the opportunity, I would bring on board my expertise in this industry to take our great county forward. And I look forward to engage with you again at assembly level, if approved, so that we can do more than before for this county. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Architect Rutto. We thank you for the fruitful discussion and fruitful engagement. We wish you all the best. This committee will retreat and prepare a report. If it finds you suitable, then you'll have an opportunity to engage with this committee. And we expect more vibrant discussions when we shall be calling you to appear before departmental committee. And we'll request the same way you were prompt in coming for this meeting, that when that time will come, you'll not give us excuses for not attending meetings in our department with our departmental committees. And because we don't have anything much to say because of time, we wish you all the best. Have a nice afternoon, nice morning, sorry. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'll request Mr. Topole to take these documents and hand it over to Mr. Rutto, to Architect Rutto.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.